Let's get this cheddar, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's
We
fucking
are
go, man.
back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back from Mexico, boys and girls. For any girls listening,
Yes,
Back
indubitably, indeed.
Mexico.
Hell yeah, brother.
4-day bender with the boys.
Oh yeah. How's it going?
It was a great trip, man.
All right,
Great.
so yeah, great. Sorry,
It was a great trip. Great 4-day trip. 4-day bender with the boys.
I think that was a good enough.
It was good enough
good,
for what we
solid like length of time.
I think so too.
Because if we were to stay there any longer, bro, I don't think it would
Would
have.
have been messy.
Would have been messy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time I got blackout in a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like mad apologetic about it too. It's just like whatever, bro. You
because
just got
bro,
blacked
I
out.
don't like, bro. That's not a good look, man.
No.
Like getting blackout. Because then people have to take care of you and shit. For me personally,
getting
I don't
taken
like
care of.
that. I don't like that. I don't. That's, bro. It's, you know, what I was thinking. It's reckless that Tim went off on his own, trashed by himself to this ball court. He could have gotten hit by a car.
Yeah.
Bro, like he was
Yeah.
fucked. You know, and he
Yeah.
got fucked. He got
fucked.
crossed up by a local.
You got crossed up by the locals.
And he played ball, and I you know, maybe we don't put this part up. We don't put this guy's shit on blast. This is one of those, just the weekly updates.
No, it's all right. Whatever. Fuck it. We're you know like nah, whatever, bro. It's fine. No one's gonna know who the fuck Tim is.
Yeah,
No one's gonna
true.
you know. But yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. But I don't know. There's something so fun about getting just blackout. You know, like every once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
Just getting just destroyed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get what you mean about getting taken care of, but you're like, at least in that environment, you know, if I were to change anything about how it went down, maybe not the guy that's getting fucking married would have been the one. If I had to change who was,
that's
being
exactly
taken
what
care
I
of,
was thinking.
You know,
Like it should have been Hubert that got blackout.
it should have been human.
Because
That
it was you and
worse.
me. It was
Yeah, it was
basically
me.
you and me that
The
got
whole was
blackout.
basically-
Because you can say whatever you want about Tim, but he didn't get blackout. He still remember what happened.
Yeah.
I don't. Yo, from that point, like after we took like a bunch of shots, I think it was probably the sun and what. I don't even remember chilling by the cafe with my head down and
Yeah.
shit. Do you remember that?
I don't.
What do you
It's-
remember?
it's-
Like,
it's
what's the
what-
last thing that you remember?
the last
that
thing?
day?
So I don't think I was. I might have been like a runner up to you. I think
Yeah.
you got the most fucked up.
So you remember?
So I remember getting held up. Being walked back to the room with Hubert, like holding his hand, like fucking hitting the walls on the way there, fucking like just throwing myself.
And how was I? Like I was being held up and shit.
I didn't even see you at the time. I think you were behind me. You were trailing, and then
'Cause
yeah,
I think Boyan's the one that held me up. That's what he was saying.
yeah, Well-
Boyan's a character, bro.
dude, yeah, that guy's a fucking.
He's a loose cannon,
He's a
man.
loose
He's a
cannon.
wild
He's a-
card,
he's
but
a-
also like
He's a naturally funny dude, man. There's something about those fucking first generation North American immigrants.
Balkan. Yeah.
That escaped fucking communism, escaped fucking prison.
Escaped.
I don't know. He escaped something, bro.
He escaped a war. bro.
His parents escaped some shit, and then they
I don't
kept
even
him
know what the
Canada.
fuck that.
But they're
war was
fucking
about.
hilarious. Like that guy is so funny, man. So yeah, great trip. But we're back.
Mexico, baby. Like
Oh,
I
food's
wish
great.
I honestly, the food was great, yes, but we I think this was expected that we ate a lot of the resort food, which was good, but I wanted some of that fucking authentic Mexican shit,
Yeah,
which we only really got like once
a little.
because we like the first
little
night we had the like I guess like the buffet had a lot of the Mexican stuff, but even then, like it wasn't. It's just a buffet, all inclusive. You don't really expect too much, but what I really was looking for was the guts, bro. I wanted some of that liver.
Oh, really?
I wanted some of that tongue, baby.
Why?
I
Is
wanted
there
some
something
of that intestines.
There's just something about Mexicans how they prep that.
Well, I mean, just like
Mexican food?
I just love guts in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me. I
love it that much?
like, bro, but I love like the tacos. The way that they prep it with like all the spices and whatnot is just bomb. The way that they
Yeah.
the way that they do it.
oh,
I had
so
like
you wanted to see it on.
I wanted to because the only time I ever had it
Yeah.
was in like legit was in Vegas or in LA.
Like
So like
guts
there's
and shit.
like taco stands that would have like your normal shit, like your chorizo, your fucking your beef, your pork, like your like asado, whatever, like the typical shit, right? But then you could get offcuts like your beef liver, your tongue, your intestines, like basically the guts, like kidneys, like all that, like um and I had like the best one that I had was this place called El Gordo, which is just on the strip in Vegas by Resort World. Fucking all like you walk in there, all Mexicans, and everybody's like lining up. Each lineup is a different cut of meat, and so like you could just have a sample of like a whole different slew of different shit. And I was looking for something more like that kind of experience. I guess it's still like authentically Mexican in the sense that it's run by a bunch of Mexicans, but I guess that's what I was kind of looking for, as opposed to what we got, which was still fucking bomb. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we went on this one place, which was like maybe like a 10-minute walk from the resort, that was suggested by I guess one of the resort workers or something like that. Still bomb. I'm not trying to downplay it, but definitely
the fucking off.
I wanted, bro, because Mexican cuisine, man. A lot of people talk about Italian food and Japanese food and like French food and all that shit, but like I think Mexican food is just, it's underrated, man. I don't think enough people like really know about it outside of like North America.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense because they've really just been going on a tear the past couple of decades. Like they've grown crazily. Like there's so many.
It's been, yeah, for
and
sure.
then a lot of them are like, you got Chipotle that's kind of just killing
Burrito Boys here locally. Yeah. I mean, Mexican food wasn't really like,
that's true.
everybody's concept of Mexican food leading up to like, the 2010s was basically Taco Bell.
Right.
Especially here. Now, if
Still.
you're around like the southern states and shit, and like that's where you could get like Tex-Mex and whatnot. But Mexico's cuisine, it's a lot like China's cuisine, where it's really regional. So one place will have like there's things that cut across the board, but because it's so regional, because like you have to think about the Mexican like Amerindian perspective. Like, so we went to Tulum, for example, right? That's one type of Amerindian. There are other Amerindians that are like thousands of thousands of or hundreds of years worth of like their own cuisine. So you have all these scattered cuisines that are like really distinct from each other. So that's why I want to actually like, we visited like the resort part of Mexico, but at some point I want to hit up like a Mexican food tour, bro, because they got some banging food.
It's definitely one of those countries that would qualify as a country, I would think, that just going there to taste food and do like like a good food tour, that would be one of those countries that would qualify for that.
For sure.
Japan would be another one.
Yep.
Italy.
Yep.
But I think China too. I think you're right though. Like I wonder how prominent or how like well known it is that Mexican food is just fucking bomb in other parts of the world. I don't think they're.
Well, I think outside of North America, like maybe Latin America, but Latin America,
they're our neighbors, so
yeah,
like,
exactly.
To be expected.
It's kind of expected, but I think like I don't think there's Chipotle in Europe, is there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there.
I don't know.
Not to say that Chipotle is a fucking like premier in Mexican food. It's not, but it is a vehicle for having that Mexican kind of like food influence being spread out, right?
Yeah, they're definitely in
May 2010 in London.
Like they're big as fuck. They're like basically at that level of fast food.
Yeah.
Chipotle that is. But fuck, man. So yeah,
Mexico proper. 10 out of 10. We'll do it again.
Great trip.
One thing I do want to call out, shout out to our boy Pod, fucking Steven Pod.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, fucking we heard this guy.
We heard him, man. We heard our boy.
Yeah. He's on the ride home because when we came back, right? Fucking Boyan gave us a ride back to Saga. And then like going back, I was just like, yo, that was a good trip, boys. Like, solid. No one got hurt. And then I'm like, and then, no, I didn't say no one got hurt. Sorry. I'm like, it was a good solid trip or whatever. Like that was a lot of fun or whatever. And then Steven nudges me. I'm like, what? He's just like, yeah, everyone but me.
Oh, no.
That's why I'm like, oh man, I feel
Oh,
bad for the guy.
man.
So I was thinking, bro, the next time that we should run like a trip back, bro. We should fucking treat this guy.
We
with some
should
shit, you know what I
make
mean?
it up to him.
We should make it up to the guy.
Yeah.
Pod's a solid dude. And fuck, man, that's the one
It was
thing.
an accident,
It was definitely an accident, but so
It happens.
break down what happened. Do you remember what happened after dinner?
dude. This was the same. I think this was the same day that we got super fucked up.
No, this
It
is
was,
the day
wasn't it?
before because this is when we were first,
Oh,
literally
great.
8 hours in, and this guy's hurt.
No.
Yeah, brother.
Was it the first day?
The next day is the day that we got blackout. The first day is the one we went to that Mexican restaurant for dinner, and then we were chilling downstairs or whatever. Yeah. And
Anyway.
then the next day, anyway. So
yeah. I mean, fuck. Shit happens. The guy just fell. You know. We were just walking back from the restaurant.
Trust. Honestly, it
We
didn't
were
like
fucking
it,
around.
it
Just
didn't
fucking
look
around like
that
monkeys.
serious. I've been like, you know,
Yeah.
it's his big toe basically got cut somehow. Like
Couldn't walk.
he couldn't really walk.
was
Him
limping
limping,
around.
bro. Yeah, but I can feel
Yeah.
I feel him for that still.
But then it was also too like the hospitality that we got there wasn't the best. I feel like that also exacerbated it a little bit, made it worse.
In what way? What do you mean?
Because like the first night, like he got the gauze over it. Like they didn't even give this guy a Band-Aid. They just
Oh
wrapped
yeah,
gauze over
yeah.
it, his wound, and it was just
Yeah, they
like-
did their best. They did their best with like because that wasn't like a fucking doctor. or
because he
anything like
had
that.
some like hanging skin off of his toe. and-
They should have cut that,
They
man.
shoulda
Because
cut that. It was-
it's
it's dead
fucking
skin,
dead
man.
anyway. Exactly. Well, no, because Steven insisted on killing.
keeping it like so.
I'm like, why, bro?
That's why, like, by the fucking morning, his
His foot was fucked. It should have just been cleaned like thoroughly.
his
Yeah.
fucking skin toe fungus was
Yeah.
wrapped around and basically fused with the gauze. And so
Bro.
when he tried to cut it off, it was a pain in his
Unbelievable.
ass. But yeah, no, we're gonna make it up to him.
We'll
We're
make it
gonna
up to
the homie.
the homie, bro.
Well, yeah, we're
else going
back.
on?
We're back. Dude, it's April 420, 421.
Indubitably. Did you watch that fight last night? I had that
did.
going. Yeah, bro. So Ryan Garcia, for those that are not in the know in the boxing world or in combat sports, Ryan Garcia is he highly touted champion. He just had a fight recently with Tank Davis, lost that fight, and he has basically been on like what seems to have been a fucking mental breakdown. And people were saying that he's on drugs and he's smoking like fentanyl and like all sorts of rumors were flying back and forth because last night he fought another like big name and Haney and ended up knocking him down 3 times, almost knocking him out, even though he came in 3 pounds overweight. And leading up to this fight, like just made for some of the funniest, most outrageous like social media like he did a good job promoting the fight. It turns out he was just trolling.
Yeah, I mean, which is great marketing. Like, it made me want to see the fight.
Yeah, 100%. It's just like at the cost of him looking like a friggin' doofus, but I guess
Well, he is a
Okay.
doofus. Don't get it twisted. Like, Ryan Garcia is
Yeah.
very cringy. Like, you
yeah,
see his
super
post fight.
cringy.
His post fight was just like,
What
I
did
just
he-
had to turn it off, man. Like, I
Yeah,
couldn't,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I like, bro. Like, I respect the guy. He's he
Pieced that boy up.
pieced that boy up.
He was
but-
using a lot of tactics that he learned from Tank Davis.
right.
The way that he's holding out that lead arm,
Yeah, he was implementing the
distance.
Philly shell pretty well, almost to like
turning his back in such a way so he couldn't get hit,
yeah. I noticed that
Those
he
are-
did a lot. Okay, first of all, let me just say,
which is such a boxing kind of tactic.
boxing is so lame, bro. Boxing is so lame with the fucking splitting and shit, man. When
What do you mean
that's
splitting? What do you mean?
I don't. Okay, let me retract.
With the
okay?
clinching, you mean?
I love boxing.
Yeah.
I love boxing. I've been a fan of the sport since I was a kid. Like watching obviously
Obviously
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, yeah.
You know, like how early in our lives, bro. We were like
my
literally
gloves winning.
fucking. You know, just since infancy, bro. Since like as long as we could remember, we've been watching this dude fight. And so
Yeah.
like me and you, boxing fans from
Bro, fight
time
night,
ago.
like say
Yeah.
say no more.
Since
Fight
we were
night,
kids.
yo, we used to scrap. My brother and I would legit
Yeah.
fight. So like it started out with Street Fighter, and then it just evolved into Fight Night.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember just beating my brother's ass. And the thing is, with my brother in gaming, he's that, like, what do they call it? Prototypical, like he's gonna go back, fucking just practice, learn all the tactics. And he started whooping my ass, and then once I couldn't take it, so I started beating. Yeah, bro.
Yo,
that was
great
good times,
series.
man.
Great
That was
series.
fucking sick.
That was those.
That cemented like the love for boxing for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is, man, but I just don't remember it. I don't know if it's just the meta that we're seeing, like, since like last night, if that's what boxing has turned into. But I don't like. Did you also think there's just way too much hugging, way too much
It's a
like shady kind of like shady tactics a little bit? Like, because when I was looking at Ryan last night, and I'm not saying that there's like a 1-for-1 here. I'm not even putting them on the same plane, but I saw hints of like a Mayweather type strategy where he would, like, he's kind of almost Jedi mind tricking in like Jedi mind tricking to try to win the fight, not to actually, like, on the defensive side, not to finish it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, one thing I noticed, the last 10 seconds of every single round, they would not do
take
it.
the back seat. Yeah.
Take the back seat, wait to get their rest.
It's friggin'
not take any chances.
I mean, I can understand it, because at the end of the day, if they do that and then they get caught, now he looks like an idiot.
Right.
So it's part of the strat. It's a legit strat.
It is a legit strat.
And it's UFC is not safe from this either. Guys will do the same thing as well.
They will.
And in my opinion, it should be no time limit. Like, obviously, like, we're talking about a fantasy here, because to make it televised is just not. I don't think it's practical. That's why you don't see it being done today. But ideally, like UFC, man, fuck the cage. Why is the cage there? The cage completely changes the game. All right, some people's games literally, like, look at Khabib. They center a lot of their game around cage fighting. Like, if you're not training cage fighting, you're missing like half the sport, basically, right? So I think if you want to see a true fight, in my opinion, like, where, like, as a purist, fuck the cage and make it like an open space. You know what I mean? And now it's clear for somebody that's trying to run. Like I like the way that the karate combat has it, where it's kind of like dipped in, so it's not a cage. And also, as a spectator, it looks it's way easier to watch. Right. Now you don't have this obstruction of a fucking
that's true.
of a cage, right?
There's something about the environment when it comes to a fight. That's pretty interesting.
Having
like,
a cage, like closing a cage behind you,
closing a cage. But I also think of, like, street fights, or just school fights, like seeing like school fight videos on what's that, like World Star.
Yeah.
And we have this new sport too, which I'll talk about in just a second. But like seeing like the environment is of where people are fighting. It's I would think that's like. I do think that's a big factor, because a big factor when it comes to the entertainment value. So like seeing school fights on World Star of like two fucking kids fighting in a washroom, for example.
Yeah.
And seeing them like bash, like they're all slipping and shit. One of them's like bashing their head on the sink, and fucking one of them's being pushed into a fucking toilet stall. Like, that's fucking entertainment, bro.
Right.
Like, that's fucking sick. Like, I'd pay to watch something like that. If they came out with a fucking league tomorrow, or some kind of fucking fight promotion tomorrow where they're just fighting in a water. We're seeing it now with that fight promotion that's doing fights in
like in
cars.
Yeah. That's been on for time, bro.
Yeah.
The Russians have like all sorts of these wacky
shit,
wacky things.
Yeah. But to your point, I do remember like being like firsthand. Remember back in like high school when there was a fucking big fight going down, like between two dudes or whatever, girls that didn't like each other. And they're just like, yo, like these kids did that.
That taps into the monkey, bro.
They're gonna fight after first.
That taps into the monkey.
Yo, reach lunch. Reach lunch. A1 or L1. Like fucking billion fucking.
Everybody crowds around.
Yeah. Everyone crowds, but everyone walks to like an open part of the field first. Yeah. Everyone starts crowding around these two fucking motherfuckers about to scrap, and they just go after it. So I think,
stupid.
To your point, a fight promotion where that kind of emulates that, where there's no cage, there's no obstruction, people just go at it.
That's the pure way.
That's a pure, yeah.
Because you get rid of the cage, you don't have to worry about cage fighting. In my opinion, that like what you're talking about, where like I would pay to see like people fight in a bathroom, for example. That's basically the cage to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically the
That's what it
cage,
is. Yeah.
right? Um, so for me, I would love to see like more of that happen, but I think for boxing, like I think if for boxing, I don't know, man. Like it's something that's existed for so long, and I don't see boxing going away, even though like it's been supposed to be a dying sport. There's always going to be new contenders that come up. There's a lot of people, um, and I think it's going to take a lot more time for like mixed martial arts to fully take over.
Mm.
Because it's just like saying that mixed martial arts is going to take over Thailand or Muay Thai.
Oh.
There's always going to be a scene for Muay Thai. In some cultures, it's deeply ingrained in their tradition to have like boxing, to have Muay Thai. Like you go to some communities in Mexico, go to some communities in Philippines, and it's all boxing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whenever you have that and you have people betting, you're going to have people that are coming from the lower rung of society that's their only way of making money, and you're going to have people that still continue boxing.
Right.
And with these rule sets, I think it's I don't see a change in the rule sets for boxing, especially because, man, like pretty much it's been like that for the past 100 years now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but it's like that old adage goes, evolve or die or some shit.
Yeah.
You know? So you're right. I think what we saw last night was two really fucking experienced fighters going after it against each other, and you know, their understanding of the rules and what they could do within those rules
Exactly.
was put on display at like the top level.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So all the hugging and stuff like that.
And hey, man,
That's
it's
part
tactics.
of the strategy.
It's
right?
tactics.
That's part of the strategy.
And if you're not going to take advantage of them where you can, your opponent will.
Exactly.
And it's a fucking war.
Right.
And if you're like when you in war, like, man, if it's more advantageous to pull fucking guard.
Right.
If it's more advantageous to fucking stall.
Right.
Like,
if your goal is to win,
if your goal is to win, like,
Yeah.
you're not going to get the fans, right?
Yes.
But if your goal is to win, you use whatever's at your fucking disposal to fucking win.
But
and get mad at a competitor for doing that.
But when you have, so I look at the NBA, for example, and I look at them as an example where they have evolved. We've seen them evolve.
Yeah.
Through the you know, decades,
Yeah.
right? Like in different eras, the game has changed so much.
For sure.
To all for this, you know, from a business standpoint, where now I think it's evolved to a point where like it's as entertaining as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because it's continuously evolved and changed rules to complement that. Boxing, on the other hand,
Yeah.
you can't really say the same thing.
This is the argument of this is the argument for centralization, right? NBA is one league.
Right.
You can you can make changes from the top down.
And one person is calling those shots.
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, one person or one committee or whatever, right? But point is, it's easy for you to, from the top down, implement these changes to make the game more entertaining. And UFC has that same advantage when it comes to MMA. They make changes and updates to rules as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for boxing, that's decentralized. We talked about how there's so many different like promotions. So each fighter has their own promotion, essentially, at least the big ones, right? And then, or signed with the big promotion. And then you also have different belts. And then not only that, but you also have different athletic commissions, right? So like to initiate change from the top down, you're not going to have a good time. So a lot of the time, it's just like what people tend to end up doing is just everything gets grandfathered in, because that's just been the precedence.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's like, why would we risk doing this change with our other companies?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in my opinion, boxing's broken. But and that's why even though they had such, to me, boxing's a lot like okay, so boxing would be Blockbuster, UFC would be Netflix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think another example, actually, BlackBerry is boxing, iPhone is UFC, right? Where BlackBerry already had a huge market share before iPhone really made a splash.
Yeah.
They were basically had all the federal contracts, Like everybody that was a federal employee in the States and Canada, all had Blackberries. Everybody in the professional world all had Blackberries. And instead of adapting, they were sleeping at the wheel. And then now, where the fuck is BlackBerry and where's Apple
Yeah.
off the back of the iPhone?
Yeah, but you're. I agree with you 100% that boxing isn't going anywhere. It's so
It's not going anywhere.
in
No.
different parts of the world.
It's gonna evolve, but I don't think the rule sets are really gonna evolve.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I can't see a world like if if they were to do that, then there would be a huge shift, I think, in terms of like the landscape of the sport.
Yeah.
As far as like the promotions go, and yeah, I think you're right that it's not going anywhere, and I think the rules are definitely not going to evolve. But it was still a fun fight to watch. I think all
Yeah, no, this was good for boxing, man.
good for boxing.
Hell yeah, it was a sick fight.
Seeing Ryan,
Super competitive,
like he's got
entertaining.
He's got that dog in him, man.
I wouldn't crown Ryan to be the next big thing in boxing.
It
Just
was an electrifying fight.
man, I get more excited watching Bivol. To be honest with you, you know who Bivol is?
Yeah, it's a monster.
That guy's a beast. He has a fight coming up too, actually.
So does Canelo.
Yeah, and so
I don't know who the fuck Canelo's fighting.
I don't know who the fuck Bivol's fighting, bro, but I know they're fucking fighting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even for guys that like I think boxing is gonna stick around. There's definitely a next generation of new stars that are always gonna keep popping up. Especially if you have poverty, you have boxing. That's my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you have a lot of cultures that that might be the only way that you're gonna be able to feed your family is fighting on a card because people want to bet on that shit. Muay Thai is a perfect example. You have kids as young as 10, 11
Right.
fighting professionally. That's how they can build up these records that are like 110 to fucking 12.
Dude, yeah.
That's wild.
It
Break that
is.
down. Like at a professional level, not even an amateur level, at a professional level, you have 100 plus fights. I mean, now in fairness, Muay Thai, you're only fighting a max of 15 minutes, but still,
Yeah.
like on a weekly basis, you're fighting.
I wonder what those economics look like, because like why is that I'm interested or I'm curious about like how does that live over the long term? Like what does that culture look like? Because I think of like because it's almost like human cockfighting at the end of the day over there in Thailand, right? Like you're absolutely
Pretty
right.
much.
Some people choose that as a valid career path where they're
Or
not
their only career path.
their only career
They're not educated.
but that doesn't like it's just at the end of the day it's just a economics thing, right? Like you couldn't have that in North America with our standard of living and our cost of living,
I think you do.
you know.
I like look at a lot of the boxers that come out of America. Are they coming from the middle class? No, they're coming from
Right.
pretty fucked up upbringing usually.
Yeah.
Look at all the great fighters. I'll tell you right now that maybe one or two of them came from cushiony type of backgrounds. Like there's a bunch of fighters in the UFC. Like I think you're more likely to find UFC guys that come from the middle class than you are boxing guys that come from the middle class
Right.
that make it to the highest level.
Right.
I this is just me spitballing, but I would bet you if you look in the numbers, that's what you're gonna find.
Yeah. I think it goes down to at the end of the day, it's just the market, right? Like if you're here, you're probably the opportunity to actually get some fucking, like a salary or get some a way for you to support yourself and your family. The opportunity to do that with boxing exists just because in North America, just because of where you are, like just people like, boxing more than Muay Thai or for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Whereas in Thailand,
Mhm.
it's just a market thing over there too with
I think it's
Muay
definitely
Thai.
the market thing for sure, because if you look at boxing back in the 60s, 70s when Ali was doing his run, a lot of guys that were a lot more guys that had the athleticism, that had the speed, would actually try boxing out.
Yeah.
But now, if you look at like the creme de la creme of athletes that are coming out of high school, they would much rather, because bro, it's fighting at the end of the day. If somebody were to tell you, bro, you're a freak of nature, you could pick any sport that you want to fucking play, just train that, and you're gonna be a professional in that fucking sport. 'Cause we see that all the time, right? You see guys that come out of like the States that are basically basketball stars, football stars, baseball stars, and then they just choose, right? So, but boxing's never there. MMA is usually never there because it's fucking fighting at the end of the day. If somebody were to ask you, like, yo, you can either train to be an MMA fighter and be great at that, but the caveat is you have to basically fight, or would you rather train to be a basketball player, make millions upon millions of dollars, way more than the average person that's starting out in MMA, and then do that instead? Well, they're going to fucking choose basketball, and you're going to choose football, you're going to choose baseball. And that's what you've been seeing over the past couple of generations. That's why you don't really see a huge influx of like premier fighters that are coming out of the States. I mean, you know, I think that's just my
anecdotal
theory behind it, but I think it makes sense because but I will say that like there could be things like the Carter effect. Why? Like if you look at some of the best players in the NBA right now, they're from fucking Canada. Why? It's because of Vince Carter.
Right.
And the same thing can happen when it comes to MMA and boxing, right? Like you can have, man, there were times that you would have a crazy sick UFC card back when Charles Oliveira was submitting everyone, back when Damian Maia was fucking strangling everybody, and then after that UFC card, you would have an influx of people that come and join the gym. You know what I mean? So I think those people that can, like, if you have another Conor McGregor, for example, that comes through and just goes completely mainstream, for example, you're going to see an influx of more people coming into the UFC or starting MMA or starting jiu-jitsu or starting boxing.
Yeah.
Right? So the sports need stars, and whichever way that you know, you can get into the sport, I think it's a net good. But I think that's the reason why, you know, you have a lot of people maybe. Well, going back to what I was talking about earlier, you like if there's poverty, there's going to be people that want to box or do Muay Thai or combat sports in general.
Yeah, I think it's if there's if there's poverty, if you weren't born with superior genetics, you weren't born 6 feet, or if you didn't have the fucking foot touch of a fucking
kind of fucked.
Yeah, you're
sorry.
fucked. You just left with fucking fighting. What else is there to do?
Yeah,
you know,
you got to live your life and then die, and then hope you have a good life, and then hopefully karma comes by around the corner.
No, I wasn't going that far.
You get reincarnated. You get reincarnated into a better life, and then the cycle continues. You know.
No, I think it's going back to that thing where it's like it's a market thing at the end of the day, right? When I think of guys like that are in the NBA. Like what is the most, do you think, rare sport to, and there's probably stats on this, but just like off the top of your head, like what do you think is the most difficult sport to get into? Whether it has to be
F1.
Really?
F1.
Like
how many F1 drivers are there? Less than 20. F1's the hardest sport to get into. Yeah. 100%.
Interesting. Now, why do you like it?
It's funds.
It's not.
Funds.
It's funds. Right?
Funds.
That's
if you don't come from money, if you do not come from money, you better come with sponsors. Because if you don't have the money, you're not. You ain't coming with shit. And that's why a lot of these race car drivers are basically the sons of massively rich people, like the Canadian dude. What the fuck's his name? Shit.
I don't know.
I forgot his name.
I didn't even consider that, but I would think basketball would be number one. But yeah,
no, basketball's way easier to get into than
F1?
F1 for sure. 1000%.
So in this list that we're looking at right now, I mean, wrestling is number 7. Figure skating, that makes sense. Like, well, I don't know, because I was kind of framing the question from the perspective of, to get into professional sport, there's like obviously it's like, you know, a list of variables. One of them being like physical, the other being funds. I guess funds kind of goes with access, because like, you know, soccer versus F1, for example, it's like as a kid, like how accessible.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a fun
like
thing.
For you to be an F1 driver, you generally need to be in a go-kart when you're a child.
It's probably the most expensive sport that you
It's the most expensive sport that you
into.
can you can get into.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
The barrier to entry.
The barrier to entry is huge because, like I said, you have to like, you don't see F1 stars that start at 19.
Yeah.
They start at like 8, 6 even. and
Which begs the question then.
and then they also have to have a pay, like, you know, the funds to have a go-kart to be able to go to these races generally on like a weekly or bi-weekly basis.
Yeah. No, this is bullshit.
No, this is bullshit.
Putting strongman at number 2.
This is bullshit.
That's
this is bullshit.
Iron Man at number 1.
After that, after F1, like you got to think like which, because the thing is with F1, that's the premier version of the sport. There's F2, there's F3, and even that, those are still hard to get into.
Right.
So there's this whole hierarchy leading up to where you're actually making money that you have to go through, and that population of people is way smaller than the pool of people that you would get from basketball, from football, from all these from hockey even. There's literally farms. There's recruitment farms for each of these sports that are thousands of kids, versus how many kids are you gonna have for for professional sports racing?
Yeah.
Right.
But that is that also like, do you like that has to be because there's not as much people going to that sport too, though, flocking over to that sport because of the reasons that like funding.
I don't know about that.
You
dude.
know,
I mean, I know F1 had that problem a few years ago, but now because of like what happened with Netflix, I think they're seeing a big resurgence back in the attention of sport.
Could be
Like, man, if you look at the F1 races, those stands are packed, bro.
right.
Those stands are packed, and the thing is, this is what like people that make a certain threshold of money, this is what they're into.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the luxury, like, you know how like there's luxury versions of everything. This is the luxury sport.
Yeah.
Is that another luxury sport that's hard to get into? Is like sailing. That's a fucking sport where you're literally, that's an Olympic sport. You're racing other boats.
Yeah.
With sails.
Yeah.
Now that's another barrier to entry, is you need a fucking boat.
Right.
Not everybody can get into that, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you know, you can argue whether or not that's a sport. I mean, hey, if it's in the Olympics, it's a sport, in my opinion, right? You can argue whether or not it's a sport or not. Like, to me, it is a sport because it's very, like, that's very physical, like sailing a boat and knowing the wind and all that shit, knowing the current.
I think at the end of the day, like that's actually a good. I wasn't expecting you to say F1, but now that I think about it, that's definitely up there. I would think, just based on just the
accessibility,
yeah, and
barrier
how
to
people
entry
are trying. Because I would think, like, going back to that question, like, you'd have to look at the actual conversion of like how many people are trying to enter that sport at a professional level versus how many people that actually become pros.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably put like MMA in that discussion too.
MMA's up there, yeah.
Sure.
Like, in terms of getting to the UFC, I think the UFC roster is 500 fighters
every year, type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the full roster. Yeah.
Right.
Because they draw fighters, they'll add fighters, they'll sign fighters. I think it's at 500. Can you look that up? Actually, how many UFC fighters are there in the roster right now? It might be under 1,000 now, actually, just because of the number of events that they put up.
Fuck, here we go. 3,000.
3,000 athletes. God damn.
Yeah.
That's actually a lot more than I thought.
A lot more, yeah.
So 3,000 athletes.
How many people are actually entering the sport?
Yeah, I saw something crazy where it's just like having a colored belt in jiu-jitsu puts you in like the 0.01% of like the entire world.
Just any colored belt?
Just any color belt. Now imagine how many people make it to black belt. So
yeah.
If that's 0.01. Now, I think I'm pulling that figure out of my ass, but it's something like that. Like a point something percent. Yeah.
Out of all the people that have tried it and like given it up.
No, just people like people that are alive, I think, just in general. Yeah. I think I think registered black belts on IBJJF is like something like 7,000 people, which is actually a lot like fewer than I thought there would be.
A registered black belt
on IBJJF, yeah.
That is ever like registered?
That are actively registered, yeah.
There's 7,000 of them?
There's 7,000. Now, you have to think about
a lot.
7,000
black belts?
Just black belts. That's not that many. I think you could look it up, but like,
well, yeah, just assuming that it's true.
Let's say it is 7,000. You think that's? I thought that there would be more than 7,000 black.
Well, because you gotta look at like BJJ isn't. It's only really big here in North America.
Oh, it's massive. Well, it's growing everywhere now.
It's growing, yes, but I
Growing
wouldn't put it in the
exponentially.
category of being massive. It's not a massive sport yet. Would you?
No, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't say massive. I would say it's massive compared to when I started for sure.
Yeah.
Just from like it growing in other countries, like in Europe, it's
It's growing.
exploded.
It's going everywhere. Yeah.
Southeast Asia, it's exploding.
Growing everywhere.
Right. But yeah, so it's good. But
That's interesting.
speaking of UFC, so one of the things that we did in Mexico actually was ended up watching UFC 300. Huge card.
We did. Huge card.
And a lot of people were hating on this card leading up to it. And I was just like, I thought everybody was tripping. I'm like, this is a sick fucking card. And it delivered. Like most of the fights were finishes.
I don't know how anyone could have looked at that card and said, this is a shit card.
Yeah, well.
Fucking doomers, man.
Yeah.
Really, like that's what it is.
Or people that think they know a thing or two about the sport.
Like what were people
overestimate
saying?
the
I
knowledge
actually
of-
didn't like what were
They're
some,
just like, oh, like, it's a trash card. Like, you know, the head, like they should have added like another headliner or whatever. I would like, man, given the way that it went down, I was not mad at it at all. Like, Poatan, bro, that guy is something else, bro.
monster.
The fact that he has the potential to be the a 3-weight division champ in
Could
the
very
UFC,
well be.
unbelievable. And it's really dope because even though I'm more of a grappler, like you know, the past 20, 30 years of the UFC, it's always been wrestlers or grapplers that have generally dominated. And then came like those that with like a wrestling or grappling background, right? But then Izzy actually ended up changing that paradigm.
Oh, Connor was the first one to do that.
Connor's a black belt. Connor's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, but I'm saying that he still had a background in jiu-jitsu leading up to
yeah, 100%. But oh, I see what you're saying. Like
Yeah,
someone with a full like striking background.
SBG. I'm like, because he trained at SBG, so he actually was he was like an MMA guy from the beginning. He didn't start in kickboxing and then, you know what I mean. It was a straight MMA from my understanding. So what I'm getting at is Izzy. Like, even if you were to say Connor had a striking background, Izzy even more so than Connor had a striking background because Izzy actually competed at the highest levels.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Izzy competed at the highest levels.
Came to the UFC,
lapped his division 2-3 times.
right?
And that was kind of a paradigm shift in a sense that, like, it went against the traditional understanding that, you know, champions are generally grapplers that learn striking afterwards, right? And then the interesting part that Izzy basically, had Izzy not done that, I don't think Poatan would be looking at the sport like, oh, I could go in there and then dominate like the way that I'm doing now. And it's kind of poetic in that Izzy was the one that's just like, yeah, he might have beat him, but nobody knows. Nobody, who the fuck is he? Nobody knows who he is. Comes to the UFC, speed runs UFC, gets the middleweight championship, gets the light heavyweight championship, and now potentially defends the light heavyweight championship against an ex-champ, avenges his coaches and training partners' losses.
The past two.
The only loss left is against John Jones, who, coincidentally enough, is in what weight division now? Heavyweight.
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Oh, man.
UFC mainstream. More butts in the fucking gyms.
Yeah.
If you see a card like that, that's the type of card that you're gonna start seeing people going to MMA and jiu-jitsu gyms afterwards.
Oh, the YouTube videos after that, a fight like that,
For sure.
of that magnitude, are just going to fucking raise all those subscription rates up at these gyms, man. Yeah, I agree. That's the ultra mega fight. Just because, oh man, Pereira's fucking rise to stardom has been second to fucking very few. I
don't think you've ever seen anything like it.
I would almost put it on par with McGregor's run. Well, without minus all the trash talking, just the extent of what they're doing and the impact that they're making on the sport. Actually, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say so.
McGregor's is still goated.
McGregor's goated because he knows how to sell a fight. Poatan does not know how to sell a fight.
He's a funny ass dude, though.
He's a funny dude, but he doesn't know. He still doesn't know how to sell a fight.
It's that English barrier.
And guess what?
Barrier.
This is where a lot of people that hate on UFC need to take notes, because even if a fighter doesn't know how to fucking promote a fight, the UFC knows how to promote a fucking fight. And so, even though, like, where do you think a lot of this money is going? It's going to marketing. It's going to promo. It's going to helping support 7,000. How many fighters do they have? 3,000 fighters.
3,000.
They have things like the PI and whatnot. So, I can understand that people get upset about the fighter pay and whatnot. But if you go on a run, the UFC takes care of you, man. UFC it really does take care of you. And if you're smart about it, you're gonna leverage that, like your McGregors in the world, and then look into other ventures. Partner with the UFC to maximize your exposure. Right? Don't look at UFC the UFC as a barrier, because at the end of the day, they're providing the platform. So you have a lot of fighters that are fucking up their own promo because they have friction with the UFC, like Aljamain Sterling, for example.
Yeah.
Right? So
in a perfect world, if you're a skilled fucking fighter in the UFC,
yeah, you don't have to
all
do a
you
promo.
had to do was fight.
Yeah.
Then that would be the perfect world.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of these guys, like, to really reach that 1%, to really reach the top echelon of that sport, you have to do both.
You have to do both. Look at Sugar Sean. As
Yeah.
much as I think that guy's so cringe, one way or another. Don't come from my neck.
No, not as cringe as Ryan Garcia.
Not as cringe as Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia is, I think, the cringe
King
goat right
cringe,
now.
King cringe. Yeah. Like Henry Cejudo level cringe.
Even more than fucking Gordon, bro.
Yeah,
Even,
yeah. That's
even more than Gordon.
Gordon, I love you too, bro. But you gotta admit, you've reached a certain level.
Yeah.
Where you're just coming off like you just need to know that you come off mad cringe, man.
Well, Ryan Garcia, I think, takes the cake, man. I can't think of anyone else that's as cringy as him.
And by the way, I'm saying this as myself. I also I have cringy tendency. Everybody has cringy tendencies. So
100%.
But at any rate, like, fuck, what were we getting at? So Poatan, right?
Dude, let's talk about Holloway.
I would love to see Poatan go up against John Bones Jones.
That would be the dream fight.
And we'll see, bro. We'll see what the future has. But turns out that Islam's gonna be fighting Volk. I think 305. So I think
Volkanovski?
Yeah, bro.
Again?
I know. It's mad soon, bro. After he just got knocked the fuck out.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that just got announced. And I'm pretty sure it's 305.
Why?
Yeah, go to news. But for those that are watching, we got a bit of an upgrade on the setup, baby. We got
this would be the third fight?
I think this is this would be the third fight. No.
This is the third fight.
Yeah, this would be the third fight.
I don't see anything about that. You serious? Where do you see that?
I think it might have been Instagram or Reddit. I don't remember now.
Well, whatever. Fuck. If that's what's happening.
If that's what's happening, yeah.
What
did you say? What you want to talk about? What else do you want to talk about?
Fucking like just looking at the UFC 300, man. Holloway had a fucking crazy fight.
Bro, shout out Holloway. That guy's Filipino. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yeah.
Filipinos claim Max.
Yeah.
That guy seems like such a cool dude, bro. Like, I think everybody in the UFC.
He's a fighter's fighter.
Yeah, he's a fighter's 1,000%.
I think if you were to rank fighters, if that makes any sense.
I don't know.
If you were to rank them like pound for pound list, it's him.
Everybody, like, DC's up there.
Cerrone, DC.
Everybody loves DC. Everybody loves Cerrone.
Oh yeah, I think
GSP.
Everyone loves GSP. Everyone loves DC. DC's a good one.
Yeah.
DC is fucking. Everyone fucks around with DC.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
exactly.
I saw a compilation of him just like of Max just fucking around with.
Yeah,
DC.
exactly. No,
I love their.
They have a bromance for sure.
Yeah.
He seems like a sick coach too, man. So like,
yeah,
like that's the kind, like the vibe that they have at AKA in terms of just like shitting on each other and like, and that's kind of like the vibe that we have at, like, with a core like Revo
yeah
guys, and that's what I'm trying to kind of like put together over here.
Oh yeah, because
don't take it so seriously. It's playtime, man. We're all here to hang out, train, have a good time.
Right.
We're not here to fight.
There's something
We're not
about
here to hurt each other.
Something about jujitsu and coming in, or just any kind of fighting pastime, boxing. People just like lose their personality when they come in through those. It's just
do you
all
mean?
ego and
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
bravado.
you have certain sports that you have a higher tendency of running into meatheads that are just
Yeah,
like, guys that go in there to not just, they're there to fight and they're not there to train. And you avoid those fuckers
yeah,
because those guys have literally usually nothing to lose. Either they have nothing to lose or they're just something's a little off up there and they don't care, bro. Like
yeah.
they get a thrill out of like hurting people. Like fuck that.
You can't be doing that, especially with
I find that
like,
you
what are you doing, man? You have a regular job,
yeah.
you have a fucking girlfriend, like
Some guy like well,
you're not trying to make it to the
some
UFC.
guys have demons,
If
bro,
you
and then
are,
they'll use they'll take it out on other people. You
mm,
know, I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
yeah,
And you're more likely to find that in striking sports, I find, in my experience, than you are in grappling. Not to say that you don't get that in grappling, because
you could,
you have some people in grappling that are just like, bro, like it's not that serious. Why are you going 100,000% right now?
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Um, I've been fucking getting my shoulder tapped a few times to fucking go to and compete, but I'm just like, bro, like there's one coming up in May,
Oh, Ontario
Ontario
Open.
Open.
Yeah, run it.
Dude, it's like $130 though for one day.
Yeah,
Like
I get
fuck
it.
that,
Yeah, I get it.
in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But I know that like
Honestly, for me, what I would like to see you clean up on certain areas because you're at the door of blue belt basically. Like for me, so
mm,
I'd like to see you work more on your mount escapes. I think you struggle a little bit with your mount escapes, and we could go over that.
lazy.
And just general cleanup of like certain like holding positions. So like back control. I think that I saw a couple of things that we can clean up on. But yeah, no, man, you're basically right there. Like you are there, in my opinion.
Mm.
But like for me, I just want to see you I want to see you take advantage of every fucking position. Now, I'm definitely projecting here a little bit. But yeah, man, fucking do it. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
definitely good. Maybe not this tournament, but I do want to see you compete
yeah.
again.
No, I'm gonna. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
But I wanna get that blue first and then go into a competition.
No, go into a competition before you blew.
It's like, why though?
Get that last fucking.
I don't care about that though.
Okay,
That's the
fair
thing, and
enough.
it's like fucking so expensive. What am I gonna do? Pay
Yeah,
130
yeah,
bucks?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
sick. I got a piece of fucking metal. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So one thing that happened since the last time that we had our pod was Drake's response, like official response. The first
Yeah.
one being was it push-ups?
I think that's what it's called.
Push-ups was the first one, and then he
Something like
dropped
that.
the AI one.
Yeah.
Bro, and I think let's go. I'm down for the next remote one to go and like literally go into deep dive on like each line and whatnot, so we understand like what we could kind of do like an analysis on the lines and who's this and who. You know?
She's so fucking go on Genius and just go
Yeah,
line by
exactly.
line.
Why not? I don't know. Just an idea.
Yeah.
But bro, when I actually listened to the track all the way through, both of them,
The first one, yeah, I
dude.
haven't listened to that. I listened to the second one, but I haven't like done a deep dive onto it. But
The second one was, bro. Okay, 8 Mile, right? Where he kind of took away the wind out of like his opponent's sails by like saying what dissing himself, so that it takes away the power from the other guy. Like I am my uncle. Like I am. I forget what the lines were or whatever, but basically that's what he was doing. I think that's what Drake did with the second track because he used Tupac and Snoop's AI voices
yeah,
talking to Kendrick and saying like all these things that he could use against like Drake, right? So I thought it was, bro. So far it's been masterful. Not to be a fucking Drake dick rider, but objectively speaking, given the context and whatnot,
lockdown.
bro, it's the ball is so on the other side's court right now. It's not even funny, and the way that he addresses it too. I forget what the line was, but he's just like, can you look up the second track, the lyrics
You got, like,
real
a week
quick?
or some shit along those lines.
And then he used Taylor Swift, a Caucasian blonde woman, and shout her out. The downplay. And yo, the line that I love the most was just like, just to have this conversation, I had to hike down. I lost it when I heard that. I'm like, oh my God. This fucking guy. The lyrics aren't up?
Oh yeah, the lyrics, Taylor.
Tailor-made lyrics. And I love how he ended off on the tag with like a future type of tag at the end. Ugh. Just everything about it. So scroll down.
Which was, yeah, this shit better be crazy. We're waiting on you.
Yeah. He's like, you better have a motherfucking quintuple entendre on that shit. Some shit I don't even understand. Wait, what does he say? He's like, Dot, I know you're in an NY apartment. You're struggling right now. I know it. And then Notepad doing lyrical gymnastics, my boy. Bro.
Fuck, man.
He is fucking their shit up, man. And the thing is, everybody got it. Everybody got it. Just a piece, just a taste. And then he challenges them by saying, he's just like, if you have the courage to drop, what is, soon as you get the courage to drop, I'm out on the loose. He's basically, bro, I'm chilling. Like, I dare. He's basically saying, I dare you. Oh, the rest of y'all are definitely involved. So everybody he didn't mention is like, yo, I still remember y'all getting it too. So as soon as you have the courage to drop something,
Yeah,
just run it, my boy.
dude. Man, what a way to like his what? He's like, how old is Drake now? How old are these boys?
Like
these guys are like
36. I think Drake's like my age, bro.
dude, fucking talk about last hoorah.
This will
Cement
his
Yes.
place
Yeah.
in the echelons of rap.
And I think
Nobody can have this, like the initial narrative of Drake, and he's like this light skin. Like,
I think we're seeing it. I think we like so like the past decade since they're you know like everyone's come up the past decade. We've seen this kind of unfold into like it's pretty much comes down to three people that you can put at that level, which is Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. And throughout that whole decade, we've been questioning ourselves. Who is like number one? And we're seeing it kind of come to fruition now. And it's like, bro,
It's
like
pretty
not
cut and
it's
clear.
pretty cut and clear.
Pretty cut and clear.
The writing's on the wall.
Yeah, no, it's it's so funny because from a Machiavellian perspective, these guys thought that we can team up. And then what they didn't realize is that now
They dug their own grave.
they gave Drake the opportunity to show everyone that I'm gonna fuck y'all up. Because if you look at it, Drake was always the one that extended the fucking
The hand,
the extended the
olive branch.
to all these
fuck.
motherfuckers.
Let's go.
Not just the olive branch, but #1 hit singles.
Yeah,
And now
all with Drake.
you basically just the thing is, if you really hated this guy, you wouldn't give him a platform to do what he's doing right now in the way that he's doing it. But y'all got too fucking excited, and you would think if you were gonna do this that you would already have shit lined up, because you have the advantage of running a surprise attack, so that if you do go to him out and then like basically he comes out and plays, you could come with rapid fire right after. But it's just like on some Meek Mill shit. They didn't really think this through. They didn't think 5 steps ahead, like Drake's clearly fucking doing. And he was just like,
Because
I thought of this in an hour, maybe 2. Like, bro,
you almost gotta think. I don't even think Drake thought of this at all. I don't think
Drake was coming off tour.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I wanted to chill and relax.
Yeah,
These motherfuckers, 20v1, I bet. And now, for the guy that you supposedly hate to the point where you're doing some 20v1 Avengers shit, you just gave him the perfect opportunity to show the world that he can dummy all y'all motherfuckers.
Oh my god, dude!
Dummies, y'all are dummies.
You couldn't have written it any better, honestly. Like again, talk about a way to fucking your last hoorah. If this is your last hoorah, a way to cement yourself in the fucking
Six God
in the history books, man.
Six God, and I love how he left DJ Axe fucking tag in there. What top 5 you smoking, Kendrick? And then Academics posted, he's just like, I'm gonna get some fucking platinum plaques off this bitch because like his voice is in it, right? So technically he's on the track. He's gonna get credit on it.
Right.
And then when it goes platinum, which it will if it hasn't already, he's gonna be able to get some free plaques out of it, which is fucking hilarious. Because Axe always been riding for the boy, bro.
Oh yeah.
Always fucking riding for the boy. Yeah.
Because man, talk about fucking greats. It's crazy. Like we're seeing it live right now, and it's
bro.
It was a big misplay.
It's
huge misplay.
He's the Poatan of rap right now.
He's well, yeah. If you're right. Yeah.
Because now, okay, leading up to now, it was two divisions: popularity, sales. But no, everyone always didn't give him the rap, the bars credit. Now he has the opportunity to get the bars credit when they're fucking beefing like this.
I think he always
3-division champ. He has the opportunity to be a 3-division champ in the rap game.
I think it's more so just like the fact that he is so versatile. He does house music. He does fucking pop. He collabs with people in all different genres. Yeah. He
has a sick team, bro.
He's reached a point where he's become so like I don't want to use like the word is commercial at the end of the day. Like he's reached like commercial
1000%
stardom. You know what I mean? Where those other boys are just fighting within
they
like
can't
one
sell
round.
outside of the States.
They're basically just fighting. They're coming to the UFC. Those other guys like Future, all those guys, they're coming in to the UFC. It's like fucking UFC 1, you know? They're coming in with just a fucking that's a bad example. They're coming into UFC 300 with only boxing.
Yeah.
Whereas Drake's coming in with fucking MMA, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's not that people I don't think people ever thought that Drake couldn't hold a candle to these guys in a rap battle or whatever. Like lyrically, I think people always thought like Drake. I always thought that Drake's like lyrics were like, you know, like when it comes to rap and like
on par at the very least.
It's just his own style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think now we're seeing it unfold in like an actual like head to head.
Artistically, he's way more versatile.
Yeah, artistically, he's way They can't hold a hand.
Neither of those guys in that big three can't hold a candlestick in terms of versatility.
Yes.
But in terms of bars, this is what I'm saying. Bars. I'm talking about like everybody was always saying that like, oh, Kendrick has better bars, like, and has more conscious bars. J. Cole has better bars, conscious bars or whatever. That's a rapper.
J. Cole maybe.
That's a rapper's rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drake was always the lesser of the three when it came to that perspective, even though I agree with you that he always came with bars, bro.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those bars the thing is, what people hated about it was that a lot of those bars were centered to women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
I think that's part of the reason why they hated. It's just like when the rap game got taken over by Shaggy. All these rap dudes were pissed because Shaggy was taking food off the table. It's like, well, how the fuck are you going to let this Shaggy dude take food off your table in the first place?
Right.
So these rappers now are thinking like, how are we going to let this light-skinned motherfucker that's singing to the girls do one over than us? That's why Meek Mill got pissed. You know, all these like true rap dudes would be fucking pissed about it.
Quote unquote true rap dude. Just like, bro, no, that's not.
I don't know. Meek's got other problems potentially with his association with a diddler, but that's another topic.
But all I gotta say is to wrap that up. I never thought that Drake was ever inferior to those guys. When like just looking at his past, even just like the past 5 years, like his body of work the past 5 years, man, like some of the tracks like are just, bro, like his flow is just so much better.
And what I like about like his like and all the big three do this, which is something that not all rappers do, is that they make concept albums. They'll take a concept and then they'll or at least they'll make a whole theme that wraps around the whole project.
Yeah.
Because leading up to that, like, you know, there for the longest time, and this still goes on, literally guys will have one hit single and then just to release a project, they'll fucking, you know, package it with a bunch of garbage, basically. If you look at a lot of the rap, like in the 2000s, 2010s, that's basically what it was. You had a guy that had like one hit and then just everything else was just garbage on that album, right? But I think because of I mean, you know, the games change with streaming and whatnot, but that's always something that I always liked about those guys is that they generally will have like overarching themes that their whole project's wrapped around, and generally will have. I mean, look, man, this is fucking sick for hip hop. This is sick for rap, whichever side that you're sitting on.
Yeah.
Because think about how, like, I'm excited for rap and hip hop again, bro.
Yeah.
When's the last time that you were excited for rap and hip hop? It's been a long time for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the next week will play. I think this is let's cut this because I think we're there. Unless you wanted to cover anything else, yeah.
No, I think we're good. No, let's cut this. Let's look forward to fucking
Get some
Kendrick
training
responds,
in,
man.
baby.
Hopefully Kendrick fucking responds, and we'll see some.
Oh, he has to. Otherwise, it's that's a loss by default.
I think J. Cole already just like he's
Jay,
I fucking apologize.
bro.
Like,
Why,
come on,
bro?
man.
Like,
why would you do that? It took down
and
this-
honestly, man, like in retrospect, because now like hindsight's always 2020. I remember that my first reaction from that track was, oh fuck, this is pretty sick. But then when you actually now that Drake's come out with this shit, like J. Cole didn't say shit on that one.
Yeah.
There was nothing really there.
sneak dissing.
Not even sneak dissing, but like even if you call those people out like directly, if you look at the lyrics, it was like okay, maybe 2 bars that were actually directly speaking
Yeah.
to fucking to Kendrick. So it wasn't even that deep in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ugh.
I think it was we all got caught up in the initial reaction that, oh, he fucking responded. It's like, oh, it's fucking J. Cole. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like usually when you see him respond, it's like he's stunning mans because like when he was talking about the mumble rappers or whatever, not the mumble rappers, but this like new breed of like who are those guys that come out of like Florida and shit. Anyway, whatever. I forget he was in beefs with prior, but yeah, man, J. Cole's he's shown to me that he's the lowest of the 3 now.
Yeah. After that was
bro. J. Cole fans.
Move.
It's so hilarious because J. Cole fans were just like so fucking hype for it, and understandably. And
I think everyone can safely say that was a weak move.
Yeah,
yes,
no, that was
because of that.
Immediately after too, bro. Like the next day, literally. Yeah, no, come on,
just
bro. Stand on that shit, bro.
you.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your fucking chest, man. Because we know that's how you're fucking like, especially when we know that that's what you really feel. Like that's how you really feel.
No, he's very apologetic. Yeah.
And then you go to the next day, turn around, apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
that's it, folks.
we're excited for hip hop, man.
Let's get it.
We'll be back to you. Appreciate
yeah.
you guys. Love you all.
Peace. Have a good week.